one of the things you really mentioned is, it's almost a necessity for businesses to have the ability to work remote. Let's talk about culture. How does all of this, again, advice to other people in your position or clients or partners, how does culture play into all this? Like, what should people be thinking about? The culture that they had in their business, or they're trying to work through, they're building a culture, maybe one thing. How does all this change that? And I guess, is there a technology spin to it?
Definitely a technology spin if you don't have something that's giving you the ability to do video conferencing. From a cultural standpoint, I would tell you that. Culture is kind of everything for us, and I think for most successful businesses, I mean, you guys read a lot of business books too. I mean, if you look at some of the most successful businesses in the history of the U.S. and even today, they lead with culture. That's what we lead with. Although we're a technology company, you walk into our office, most people go, we would never know that this is a technology company. It's not everybody sitting around hoodies and playing games and things like that. We're a very social company, and we love being around everybody. So it's been pretty difficult on us to not have that interaction every single day. But we've done some amazing things. We've really amped up our communication, video calls. We're trying to do fun things on a remote aspect. We're doing brain teasers on Mondays for gift cards. We've been running bracket challenges and things like that. To have a remote workforce and for it to be successful, there's a lot of work that is involved with it. I believe that the more remote workforce you have, it probably means that you need more managers per head count, because if you want to maintain that culture, you have to be able to reach out to those employees and have conversations with them and let them know that you're there for them. That doesn't mean that you need people checking up on them and looking over their shoulder, or you're thinking that they're not doing work. I think that you just have to be mindful of making sure that those employees know that you're still there. You're available. If they have questions, they shouldn't hesitate to reach out to you, that you still care for them as human beings.
So what would it's great. Like, I think, from our perspective, we obviously are a remote company as well. But I think, what would you say to someone who's, what tools should they look at? I mean, obviously we're using Zoom today. You've mentioned Slack. What other things or ideas right now can people try to implement easily to try to keep that communication and keep the bond going with, whether it be technical people, non-technical people, sales people, whatever group in your company? How do you try to keep the connection going? Any tips just for the people out there that are new to this?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that if you have a cadence that you have kept for in-person meetings, there's no reason why that cadence should change, if not improve, for remote. So we do biweekly one-on-ones with every one of our employees. We have maintained that cadence. We've actually increased the cadence of which we reach out to our employees. So we're a heavy process-driven company. So I would tell you to look out and plan and create some process around how your managers are supposed to be interacting with your employees. Ask your employees how they want to be interacted with. Some might not like being on video. Some might want a heads up if you're going to pop in on them. If it's somebody wants to get their makeup put on, they might not like the fact that you're doing a Teams call and it's a video chat, out of the blue. They might want to know that it's going to happen on Thursday at 8:30, so they can have their makeup on and they can have at least a nice shirt on. Maybe they're just rocking shorts.
Or maybe if they're laying in their bed on their computer working, right? I mean,
hey, I've seen that in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it happens.
It happens. Not everybody has an office right now, so
that's true.
That's been something that I've discussed with peers, and we've had challenges too. Is that not everybody has an office at their house, and even if they do right now, maybe their wife is in the office and they're at the kitchen island, or their kids are in the office and one's at the kitchen table and one's at the island. So be prepared to see all that stuff, but just know that your employees are human at that point in time. And I think a lot of the times it's best to figure out what type of communication those employees need and want from you as well, from a manager.